Hello, storytellers. I want to talk about why Christians, families, moms, dads, parents, kids, and friends, fellowship should be playing a role-playing game. And of course, I am bringing in the Christian role-playing game. And I'm doing a Christian role-playing game that is just like all these other role-playing games. You get adventure, fun, silly, craziness. There's even magic. I accept witches, demons, possession, all that crazy stuff. Even with kids to play. I do mutants, radioactive stuff, sci-fi, APOC. You can even have that, and I'll show you right here in a sec. I was like, man, Christians, we gotta have something out there that's an actual Christian role-playing game. But what I mean by Christian role-playing games is you actually are a Christian. You evangelize. What isn't being a Christian? It's not being good. It's not being good, because we all know none of us are good. No, not one of us. It's about evangelism, the Great Commission. Remember when Jesus said, okay, if you're gonna do something for me, because I don't need you to, but if you're gonna, go ahead and do this. Remember when he said that? Exactly like that. Evangelism and church planning. That is what a Christian is all about. So that was me going, trying to figure this out. And it really blew my mind. It took me forever to figure it out. It's so simple, actually, but it was hard. It was hard to, whatever that was, break that wall. You go, wait a minute, we're missing something in role-playing games. We're missing something huge. And that is the whole evangelism church planning part of church history, which is medieval history. And remember, fantasy in medieval history has to do with two things struggling together. And that is paganism and Christianity. That is the true history and fantasy. Because fantasy that we look at today is in there. It's way deep in there. Pagans believed in check this out. Here's what pagans absolutely believed in medieval history. Dwarves, elves, giants, mythical beasts. They believed in all that. And Christians, we believe in, guess what? Demons, angels, spirits controlling beasts and weird things. And we even have channeling and blah, blah, blah. Get my point? Prayer, magic. So what the heck? So where are the Christians in all these games? So I had to bring them in, but also I had to figure out and use. I read a bunch of hagiographies. I'm still got a bunch to go about monks writing about other monks during the church, especially in the early church period. What happened? What they did? There's dragons. There's evil spirits and possessions. And these are historical documents. A hagiography is basically a monk reporter writing about another monk and what they did. And all kinds of miracles and magic and witches and all that. So, and none of that is in any RPG out there, especially the fantasy ones. They removed it. They removed Jesus and all the Christianity from it. But guess what? The paganism is still there. The dwarves, the elves, the gnomes, the evil spirit gnomes, all of that stuff that's sort of mythical and medieval and dark lore or whatever is all still in all the RPGs for the most part, and everything sort of Christian and Jesus Christ and church is removed. Now they'll take the names. I noticed they're starting to really take the names of Christian stuff, but just not the pantheon, just not the pantheon of three, whatever, which is not a pantheon, it's a model. Anyway, so let me show you a game, my role-playing game, which you guys, I'm trying to, I'm just day by day struggling along, trying to create a Christian RPG market, with a real Christian RPG where you are really playing a Christian, getting kids to say the gospel. I have gotten 6, 8 kids to say the gospel in my playtests, and I even have some on camera recorded, but I'm still not sure I want to upload them because of the whole, kid things on YouTube stuff. But I had a pastor, 2 sons, and he wants me to upload them, but I just got to get around to finishing editing them, and hopefully it'll all go fine. But he had his 2 sons, and 9 and 10, and they said the gospel in this game. Now, they've never said the gospel before, and they're the son of a pastor. 9 and 10, so it's fine. But my point being is that this game gives you that. They wanted to say the gospel too, because it's a great little environment to do it in. And they said it to some bandits, like they were playing the APOC setting, the post-apocalyptic setting. Yes, Earth timeline, Christian biblical adherent, creation science adherent. And one did it to a witch. And he was the first brother said it to a bandits to convert them, because we have a game mechanic where called denouement, like a morale, where you can fight, but every time, are they surrendering? Are they giving up? Are they backing off? The Christians actually, you get to have fun combat and crazy killer stuff, beasts and all, but then there's a denouement clause in there, whereas as the fight goes your way, the Christian way, the bad guys will have denouement rolls to see if they continue fighting or want to surrender or run off. And so that's what the Christian's goal is not to kill them, but to try to get them to surrender or run off, and then they can, hey, here, let me tell you about Jesus. And that's what the kid did, and he converted, a little guy. It was kind of funny though. The guy got blown up by a grenade. But other than that, it was great because he converted this bandit, and and the gospel, when they speak the gospel, it's very lighthearted, very light. And I let them attempt it, and then if I like it as a GM, I can give them a little bonus or whatever. But they still got to roll. They're still sort of the game mechanic, just like in life, casting lots, just like it says in Proverbs. Proverbs 16:33: the lot is cast into the lap. That's what it says. The lot, but it's every decision is from the Lord. So there you go. And this is another thing I want to say about doing missionary work, Christian work in a game, in a make-believe. Is it sacred or whatever? No, it doesn't matter. And this is in real life too, as a missionary. And this is what you're teaching your kids. It doesn't matter if you succeed or fail at your missionary work. Like if I succeed or fail at this, doesn't matter. I love the Lord. Boom. That's it. Doesn't matter. I would prefer going to the Lord with imagine this. Imagine you're a person going to the Lord at the end, whatever. And you said, Lord, I tried to serve you. I tried. Everything I did, I failed at. Everything. And then the Lord responds, you tried 23 times and you failed 23 times to be a missionary. And you're like, yes. And he goes, you tried 23 times, failing every time. Come in. Not that we believe in the works, but you know what I mean? Imagine you failing at 23 things that you've tried as a missionary for the Lord, but you tried 23 times. That's amazing, right? Imagine someone like, oh, I just put this book out and got huge and made millions of dollars for you, Lord. Like, okay, that's neat, but how hard was that? It wasn't hard at all. It was just wonderful how blessed I was. It's like, no, I didn't bless you. I don't know the details on that. But I'm just saying, someone failing at this is fine. If you fail as a missionary in the game and in the world, it's fine. God's will is God's will. It doesn't really matter. The Great Commission isn't for God. The Great Commission, in my layman's thing, the Great Commission is for us to keep busy, to do something. He's giving us something to do, because it's how cute. We're trying to, save people and convert people. How cute of us. But he's giving us something to do. So in the game, you're a missionary who can fail, and that's fine. You're going to make mistakes. That's fine too. That's what this is meant to teach you. You don't have to be perfect in your missionary work. You're going to make mistakes, and plenty of the players have made plenty of moral mistakes and of questionable methods over and over, and it's great because it's fun, and it really makes us realize. It gives us humility in this thing, because imagine you got in the real world and you have no idea how to evangelize, and then you make a mistake. You're going to be devastated. You're like, oh, I ruined it. The sacred moment is destroyed. That's the one about this game. And by the way, the second son, he was not a evangelist. Like, he was like a guard. He wanted to play just a regular mercenary guard. Christian, but not really. But then at the end of our little mini campaign, they had captured a witch, and she was in a cage, and she was hating everyone and spitting on him and whatever. And he said, I want to go talk to her. I'm like, oh, okay. Why? I didn't say that, but I was thinking that. But he went up and talked to her, and he rolled an evangelist role, and he spoke the gospel to her. Even though that was not his role, he wanted to do it. And he freaking rolled like a nat 20 or something. He had a -2, no skill, like -2, nat 20 or whatever it was. But it was huge, and we were all like, wah! And then, so the witch, said, I realized something. Everyone is nice to each other. Everyone is, like a little change of heart happened while she's sitting in the cage, and then of course the thing is here, when you evangelize and you plant a church, you stay for a little bit, gain, do some upgrades or whatever, But then actual ministers come and run the church, and you go off and do the next adventure. So you're not really there to run the church, although that would be a cool role-playing game, church RPG. But in this game, you go out, confront baddies, bandits. Here's a simple example. You go to the village. There's a dragon. St. George the Dragon is a classic tale. What you realize is that the villagers worship the dragon, and they're sacrificing to the dragon. Now, you can do human sacrifice, and if it's with kids, I don't know, kids are fine with all this. Like every kid I had, I didn't do human sacrifice, but I did like slavery. Well, no, I brought up sacrifice of humans. I just didn't do it gory. I just said it like in passing or whatever. But all the kids are fine with the violent stuff. They're like, well, man, we got to stop this. That's their first reaction. Oh, these are terrible. So, but whatever, you have to decide on your level. But so the village worships the dragon, sacrifices the dragon. So you gotta see. So there's the adventure. You gotta deal with the villagers and the dragon, and they're not gonna give up their faith because their god is right over there. So why would they? So you gotta go fight the dragon, defeat it, then come back and deal with the villagers, and hopefully that will go well because it could go bad. So that is how intense this game is. And you can add another element in here. You can have villagers, the cultists, and the dragon, and the cultists who facilitate the dragon, who then the villagers worship. That's actually the real adventure right there. And if you succeed at that, imagine planning the church, and then as I as a GM play the villagers who now have to confess up their sin, what they have done, that you have brought them love and compassion and forgiveness, and they have to confess up what they have done, who they have sacrificed to this beast and this cult run by a witch, by the way, or sorcerer. So there's that. You can add to the game. That's what this is all about, and I'm looking at it because I got it on the screen here. That's in my APOC setting, in the Christians in Space setting, and in the Dark Ages church history setting. Those are the kind of adventures you're going to deal with. And then I'm also adding now, because I'm finishing up the Kickstarter of the Dark Ages, I'm adding in a bunch of dungeon delves and crypts and tombs and catacombs, because those are historical. And they sealed them off in the 7th century. Now, granted, there's two reasons. One is the Christians didn't need them anymore because they became now the de facto religion spreading across the land. So they didn't have to hide underneath in the tunnels. But two, I'm going to say too, the other reason is because it was filled with demonic evil, and you got to go down and cleanse it and clear it out and then seal it. Whatever. But and it didn't get reopened until like the 16th, 17th century. They rediscovered them, and then they didn't even really rediscover them until explore them until those hundreds of years later. So for like 1,000 years, these catacombs for the most part were sealed off. So you can use those in any Dark Ages setting, by the way. 14th century Paris, 6th, 7th century Italy, 10th century Berlin, and create these crazy settings with dark, diabolical, demonic things, or pagan crazy things, with catacombs, with crypts, with tombs. You can do it in Eastern Europe, in Transylvania-like areas. You can create an incredible. We're erasing this incredible opportunity, Christians, to create dark Gothic. Gothic is a Christian motif. Gothic is created by Christians. Goth and Gothic are hardcore Christian motifs that we are erasing the Christianity and turning it into some sort of modern pagan goofballness. We have, the Dracula with the cross is the most amazing, crazy, awesome, fun thing ever, and we are now removing that and turning it into some just delusional, humanist, atheist, wacko thing, comic thing. We Christians are voluntarily erasing incredible cultures and history that we should be punching into the RPG culture. And I've got a system here that I'm just going to go over it now and show you it. And it's on before I go to the other screen. Here it is. Here's my Christians in Space one. This is on Amazon. I have it on Amazon right now. It's got robots, spaceships, and the rules they're all the same rules, so they're compatible. The rules are the first like 20 pages, and the rest, well, then I got to do robots and spaceship rules, but they all kind of follow the same thing. And by the way, your spaceship stuff, I don't know if not that I play that. I've played 3 or 2 hardcore sci-fi RPGs, and I know of a few others, but 2, because I used to buy all these ones. I have them right there. Oh, I got the Alien RPG, and I've got the Space Masters. That was my hardcore one, and then Star Wars, the latest Star Wars one. That was on. But they, sorry, I got a cold from them. They kind of separate out vehicle spaceship combat with with your player combat, right? Well, me, nope. It's all together. You have vehicles and spaceships. If you can see the spaceship, they're battle maps. These spaceships are battle maps. So yeah, you actually are fighting when you have a combat in space with spaceships. Your token is right there, and you're getting shot in the parts. You're in the ship. You can get shot up. There's a space station there. There's a spaceships, but your ship is getting shot. Parts are getting destroyed, and you got to go run around and repair it while the other guys are shooting back, and you can get boarded all in the same turns. We're not switching out maps or switching out. I devised a crazy, awesome. The players don't like to do spaceship battles because their ships get beat up. I'm trying to think of a good word to say. Very costly, very dangerous, but very fun and cool. I mean, they like to do it, but they know it's going to be serious. And you always see that too in like movies and stuff where the ships only take a couple of hits and boom, things are blowing up, man. And that's exactly what I'm doing with this. The same with like World War II. Like it's very World War II. I also have a campaign set up for the space sci-fi because I figured we needed it. You can create your own planets. There's a whole tables and charts to do that, like your own random planets. But I do have a setting. It's very biblically adherent. Now look, there's a bunch of aliens in alien worlds, right? There's a bunch of alien bugs and mines in these worlds, and this is all based on the galaxy. There's some space leeches or whatever I call them, behemoths. You got some. I got the Zerg Tyranid thing going on here. I got the Space Master thing going on here. I got the Terminators. I got mutant marauders. I've got everything. I stole from everybody because that's what we Christians do. We steal from pagans. And we take their stuff, like the cross. We take their symbols and we use it in a different way, like the Christmas tree and the Easter bunny. We take that. Let's PG it up. We PG that stuff right up. We take that pagan stuff and PG it right up, man. That's why I'm like into Halloween because I'm just gonna PG it up. Anyway, I mean I'm not really into Halloween, but I like. Okay, so yeah, so I got all these different little worlds and settings. I make it very simple, like 2-page, 3-page spreads of different planets and what you can encounter on them, and I try to put all the stats in the same pages, So you could literally have these few pages right here as your adventure, and that's it. You don't have to go. All the creatures are there. I mean, unless you want to add other things. And then at the end of each thing, I try to do a reference to stuff for you. But anyway, one more. Oh. Are there aliens? We don't need aliens. Every alien, well, we have aliens. Every alien is genetically modified humans because the atheists went off into the space and did their mad scientist, crazy engineering thing where they terraformed and then genetically modified and mutated humans and beasts and planted them on the planets. Which makes way more sense than Star Wars or Star Trek, right? Star Wars and Star Trek have bipedal, carbon-based aliens that speak our language fine and think exactly the way we do and have their emotional issues like we do. That doesn't make any sense, like evolution-wise. Doesn't make any sense at all, But in mine, it totally makes sense. Like the Star Wars and Star Trek in with the creation science, mad scientists terraforming totally makes sense. And then all these different cultures of human mutants do their thing. Okay. I also have an Apostles of the Epoch, which is I'm doing like a timeline here. This is 2300 AD. I can't forget the numbers. Like this is 2500 AD, and this is 2300 AD. Yeah, it only takes a couple hundred years, for all this changes. Sorry, let me blow my nose real quick. I'm just getting my little cold here. So, what is the concept in either of these? Okay, so this is 2200 AD. The concept is that there was a nuclear, wasn't a war. It was the atheists when they did their exodus on their arcs, they nuked the planet and and the Christians were all in these war camps, but they survived. And so after 100 years of nuclear fallout, the Christians are going out now into the wastelands of Earth, and you got it, mission work, Christian evangelizing the wastelands and rebuilding the Earth. And the atheists have left because they hate Earth and they hate Jerusalem and Israel. And they really try to blow that up, but for some reason it didn't work. Anyway, they went off in there, so now they're doing their, because they, obviously climate change is going to destroy the Earth, but they nuked it. But anyway, so they go off to do their thing. So the Christians are now, this is the game where you go out doing hex crawl, random hex crawls. It's very cool, very fun, very simple. If you want to start off a game, this is the easiest in the sense of, you just roll up a couple hexes around your bunker hex, and then you go out and explore. And then I have a ton of examples in here of setups. I got all the bandits and mutants and creatures that you can use and make up, and you can use literally the same technology and concepts of this in here, or vice versa. Like there could be an APOC planet in space that they go to, but the same mechanics, as far as I'm concerned. This one just doesn't have spaceships, but it's very low technology and crazy. But again, the rules are only the first 20 or 30 pages or whatever. Making characters and rules, and here's the combat rules. Okay, 2 pages. I mean, there's a couple of things too, but game mechanics. The die rank things I've said in another video, but that's the one where I really try to explain that. And the reason I'm using die ranks, the die rank mechanics, is so that you don't have like a 10th level cap, and you can continually make these play these characters as long term if you want campaign. So you gotta learn and understand die ranks, dice pulls, and die rank results, which is all the same die rank mechanics. It helps cover a lot of the other tables and rules that you might want to do in other games where they have a bunch of tables and references. You just use the die rank, and that's it. All right. I'm going to show you guys because I'm a nerd and I just want to keep going. I just want to keep talking about this because I love it so much. And on my channel, I'm not only the designer, creator, or owner or whatever. I am a client or whatever that term phrase is. I play the game. I walk the walk. I talk the talk and walk the walk on YouTube. No editing of my games. Sadly, I should edit them just because we bibble babble and I babble all the time. But I play the game and upload it to YouTube to show you guys, because I guess this is completely new territory, right? Evangelism, church planting. I don't think any other role-playing game does that. And we actually, had an actual Christmas on it, and we actually had a church service in it on the games, and then plenty of combat and crazy stuff. So I just kind of run through real quick. This is the Dark Ages one. I'm working on this one right now. What's funny is this is the first game, but I for some reason went backwards when I did all the Kickstarters and stuff. But I'm really trying to get this thing to look a little more graphics, a little cooler looking. Here's the die rank thing going on here. But so this is the die rank. This is the Dark Ages. And what I've done too is I've added a lot more stuff for you to help you set up an adventure. I had a 14-year-old tell me with the original game that he was able to create an adventure with my charts that I did, like simple little rolls like this. And this is more. I've fleshed it out even more. But he did it with that, and he said it worked really well. He's a 14-year-old, and he never played role-playing games before, and he did it with his family. And so here's like just some village stuff. Here's a map to show you kind of an area you can use. Here's the pagan hex crawl. This is the kind of the original thing. I'm certainly updated it, but showing you how you can set up a pagan activity and all this stuff that you can add to it. Adding extra stuff in here for more adventure ideas, more flavor and side quests. Giving you a conversion level. This is like for you to use on the left there. I know it's kind of covered up by me, but so what? This is you helping you sort of decide, like you can look at the pictures here, the conversion level of the characters and what are the NPCs and how they would react to things. And again, all these things are a guide for you to work out. And I have a lot of videos on here where I set up an adventure using these tables here, just for my own help. And here's some names you can. I'm going to roll up a name for you right now. Here, I'm going to roll up a witch name. Oh, my nose is stuffy. Okay, here's a witch name. Let me get my dice tray. 1428. All right, here we go. Witch name 14. Ba 20. Oi 8. Baoyim. Baoyim is going to throw her dark magic powder upon you. and you all feel a stiffening in your joints. See? So, and by the way, all the black magic in here has to do with very historical sort of stuff here. A lot of it is drugs, poisons, and then just evil intent. That's black magic enough for me. But you can, I extrapolate them out as possible dark magic, demonic powers, blah, blah, blah. And that's the case in hagiographies in the past. What did the Christians have? We had the Word. So the Word, here's how it looks like for us. I'm going to go back up to the, sorry, my nose is stuffy. I'm going to go back up to blessings, miracles, and glory. So the Christians have blessings and, like bless, the clergy. And this is what it looks like too. You have a cleric amongst your group. Lord, give us the strength to fight on or persevere. That's the bless, right? There it is. And then he gives them all die ranks or, bonus die ranks for their roles. Protection. Lord, protect us in this fight. If it's a fight or whatever it is. Protect all of us in a fight so we do not get harmed. There it is. There's the protection spell or whatever. They're blessings. The paladin has his and the nun has hers, don't hit me, please. That's her blessing. So the bad guy is basically being, penalized from attacking her. The really cool one is, I see an angel. And then she faints. And then an angel appears and she gets to play an angel for a little bit. See? So we have, very cool stuff, very epic. And I really thought this out. Also, they have prayer. Oh, I forgot about that. That's a huge one. They get to pray. Hey guys, we need to stop and pray before we go into that dark cave with all those howling cultists. Hey, that's a good idea. So they can sit there and pray. Are they all together? Is it corporate? And it's corporate. And they roll, and this is the die rank results. This is the die ranks game system. Based on how high they roll, they can get some die ranks. I'm going to say real simple. If 12 is the default difficulty, so I'm just going to say 12. I could make it higher because there's howling cultists in the cave, but I'll just 12. And so she rolled. Let's say the nun gets them all together, and she prays. She has a prayer skill, and she, the cleric next to her gives her a blessing. Fine. Add all that together. Roll it. Let's say she rolls a 22 total. And the 12 was the so she rolled 10 over that, right? Half of 10 is 5. 5 die ranks. So she gets 5 die ranks she can give to the players. 2 for him, 3 for 1 for each of them. So they can use those to add to their rolls, when they go into the cave. And that's how that works. So that's really cool. Prayer. And I tell her to pray, or the kid or whoever. What do you say? And we all, wait and listen. And if I like the prayer, I'm going to give them a bonus, to the roll. I'm going to, if I think, wow, that was right on, man. All right, 2 die ranks, bonus for you. You know what I mean? And then they're going to go to the cave and fight cultists. Yeah! And the cultists, by the way, have a steroid trained mutant bear. Yeah! Okay? Oh my gosh, I could keep going on and on. Let me just jump over to the APOC one. I already showed you the book, but see, this is my APOC one, same rules. I got there might be a couple little variances in rules because every time I do a new, you clean up some of the grammar or clarifications. So please bear with me. But look at this vehicle combat here, vehicle armaments. Oh my gosh, 50 cal. Boom, 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 boom. The shooting that they do with each other and the tokens are right on top of these vehicles in the game. So boom, 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 boom. Everything's going crazy. Missile launches and all that. Oh my gosh, it's just crazy, and we're having a great time. Sorry, I'm getting a little nosy here with the sinuses, the cold. Okay, so here's the sci-fi one. Look at that. I already showed you this on the book, but there's the ships. You're running around in the ship. You're running around on a space station. You're talking to people. I got ogrigs. I got all kinds of races of characters. Here we go. See, here's some generic characters you can use. Ogrigs. And yes, these are mutant humans. All mutants, humans. So you can use that. I got this whole 3 or 4 star systems here that I built out for you. So you can create all. This one planet can be forever and ever space mine dungeon crawling, because that's what the whole concept of this planet is, a space mine dungeon crawling thing. I gotta blow my nose again. Okay, Yeah, so they did a bunch of space crawl mine things, with space bugs and grubbos. And yeah, like security warbot. That was a hilarious thing. The dreadbots. We got dreadbots. We got dreadbots, man. That's right. Created by freaking atheists, just like today's AIs. Okay, and they're gonna come up to you and lie to you and give you a bunch of woke stuff. That's what their deadly skill is. And they got their crazy spaceships, and we got reptilians. We got a Tatooine. I said, screw you guys. We got a Raptorine, man. A bunch of reptiles and a desert planet with pipes, giant pipes, and it's been an awesome sort of take on it all. And we've done a bunch of episodes with that. So you can watch it on YouTube. So I'm just, man. I'm working right now on the Dark Ages campaign setting, which is going really well. I'm really digging it, man. I've got some cool stuff in here now. More, dungeon crawl type of things going on here. I don't know if you can see it all in there on the screen, but whatever. Mines. I'm building up all this stuff for them to do. I'm punching the primordial in there, like King Kong, Skull Island type creatures and stuff. I'm doing that. There's even a demon. Yep, doing a demon. I'm going for it, man. Kids are fine with it. When I did demon stuff, they're like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's fight him. Let's beat him. Here's something that I had that was so cool. Twice it happened. I had a sister brother, young sister brother in 2 different games. Same thing happened here. The women in this game play women. They don't play men. They don't wield battle axes. I don't erase womanhood in my game. I don't erase the feminine side. The women in this game have their own talents and abilities that they can pick from that are separate from the men. The men can do them, but they don't get the same bonuses. And the women can swing a battle axe, but she does not get the same bonuses a man does. And so I've had 2 girls in this game say to their brothers, both of them did this, and the 2 girls said, brother, or whatever the name is, you go forward, I'll stand back. So like she'd use her crossbow or whatever, she would be in support of. And the brother would go, oh yeah, I will go forward and fight, That is freaking awesome. That is so awesome to experience. When the girl realizes, oh, I'm not a man. I'm not a crazy fighter. So you man must go forward and deal with this, and I will help you. It's awesome. It's just been awesome, and it's not based on the classes of the characters. It's based on their sexes, the sexes of the characters. It's based on that. I'm a woman. I cannot run up and do crazy stuff. Yeah. Anyway, it's been amazing. Okay, so there's this. This is the church history one. Okay. Not only is there a game. Let me kind of zoom this out a little bit. It's kind of sideways, which is because the way I want it to be printable. Although I fixed it another one. But anyway. You get like all these tokens too, like printable tokens if you want. It's on my website, but you can, it's a PDF and you can download this and print it out, and you can now cut out these tokens so that you have them. Like if you got my game, you have everything you need already. You have the tokens, you have the maps, and the game books. And look here, they're you can see them here in my these are the little cutouts. These are my little cutouts. You just cut it out, fold it, and then trim it to fit. And it's just like that. Very easy to just make a bunch of these, and I do it this way because it's easy to cut them out really fast. You got a whole page of these on there. It's easy to cut all these out and use them and throw them away if you want, or redo it, or obviously I try to keep them. I mean, I just stuff these into my notebook when I'm done. You can use miniatures. The miniature rule set in this is very simple. Short, medium, far. Decide that yourself on the range. Whatever makes sense. I even do when they run somewhere, I just roll, like if they want to run really far, I have them roll their prowess, and if they succeed, fine, you get there. But if they fail it, then they get halfway or whatever. And I do common sense. What is it? Does it look like they can run that far? Actually, when they do that next time, I'm going to add their armor save, because you add their armor save. I like to add their armor save to things when things are more difficult, because when they're wearing heavy armor, I will add that to the difficulty of the task. So let's say, here's an example. Everything is a 12, right? To succeed, but that changes because it's based on things that are going to run. The way I do it is I add die ranks, like, oh, D4, 1 die rank, it's wet. 2 die ranks, it's rocky and cruddy. 3 die ranks, it's raining. So that's 3 die ranks. So it's D4, D6, so a D8. So I'll get a D8, I'll roll that in front of them, and I'm explaining to them, it's wet, it's raining, it's very rocky, it's not an even surface. So those are 3 factors. So that's D4, D8. So I'm going to roll a D8. I roll a D8, let's say I roll a 4. So 4 plus with the 12 is 16. 16 is your difficulty to get across that. That's how I do it. It's very simple and fun, and I don't have to worry about, and it makes sense to them and me. Like, everything I say makes sense. Oh, but you're wearing plate mail. Okay, that's heavy, dude, and you're going to go across that? So it's 3 die rings for that. Now, this is optional, though. You can do this or not do this. For more experienced players, I will do this. For regular players, I'll just do the wet, rock, rain. But for more experienced players, I will start going, oh, you got the plate mail on. That's a D10 armor. So that's D10, by the way. D4, D6, D8, D10. It's 4 die rings. And then the 3 die rings from the wet rocks and cranes. So that's 7 die rings. So I'm going to roll so 7 die rings. This is D12, right? D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. And this is a D6. Okay? So yeah, I'm getting a little trickier here. And you don't have to do this. You can, if this is the option of, you can choose to do this, or if you want to move the game along quicker, just do the simple D8 from before. But I'm going to be mean because this is a really important part. So his armor, I just rolled a 12 and a 6. So the maximum. I don't add them together. I picked the highest, 12. 12 plus 12 is a 24. So for you and your plate mail to get across this area, you need a 24. Now, if he fails, does that mean he dies? No. Or he doesn't get over? No. I will decide. He will either take some vitality, damage like exhaustion, or I could risk that he takes damages his armor, slips, smacks, cracks the plate mail inside the rocks and the wetness. I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now, but or I could do it where he okay. Here's what I would do. Let me just think about it right now. I just rolled a 12 and a 6, maximum fear. And then, well, depending on his roll, his succeed roll, but he's got to be a 24. So let's say he just rolls a 12. So he 12 off. So, all right, you did a D12. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do half of that. A D12 is 5 die. Half that is 6. Sorry, half of D12. Half of the 12 is 6. So that's 6 die rings. So 3 for wounds, and 3 for, so the red is wounds, or I'm sorry, hit points, and this is armor damage, which I don't need to roll it. You get 3 die rings. You damaged your plate mail. 3 die rings. You totally ruined it. You smacked it. You broke off a piece, because you got it stuck in the rocks, broke it off. You fell, obviously. I wouldn't even say you fell. You took 3 vitality though, because you were yanking that piece of armor that got stuck in the rocks. You took 3 vitality, so you drained 3 hit points. But your armor is damaged at 3 die rings, which is really bad. Really bad. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I think that's too much. Because he didn't fumble. Okay? So I'm not going to do that. If he fumbled, I would have done that. But he didn't fumble. So I'm going to say this one is the 3 die rings. He's at minus 3 die rings for a little bit. There we go. That's better. He's at minus 3 die rings for a little bit. So he's at minus 3 die rings because of the exhaustion and frustration. But only for a little bit. If you get a moment of rest, that'll go away. But for now, you're at minus 3 die rings. And you didn't make it across. Okay, you're at minus 2 die rings and you didn't make it across. I take one off for didn't make it across. So it's that kind of a thing. Now, I'm thinking off the top of my head here, but it's that kind of thing for that. I hope I'm not confusing you. It is fun. Trust me. You move along. If it gets too confusing, skip all of it. Just give them the vitality. Move on. To the next part of the game. Next part of the whatever's going on. But it covers a lot of things when you do that with die rings. You don't have to look up a chart or anything. Okay, so let me go back. So these are the tokens. There they are. And these are all, fantasy ones. Okay, there's more here. There's a lot more here. These are your dungeon and Dark Ages stuff. And you can use this for sci-fi as well. But I got your villages. I'm sorry it's on the side, but it's just the way that I print my printables. Village stuff. I made some repeatable for some because I was thinking that this was going to be an actual printed book. So I made stuff double here, but I might change that back to singular. But yeah, there's that, and I'm actually getting better. I'm going to say here. Check this out. Is this is all sci-fi. This is all the sci-fi and APOC vehicles, creatures. Look at that cool stuff. And these are, by the way, this is meant to be, you print this out, tape it, fold it, and you've got this on your table now as your vehicle. And you can put the characters at the seam of the tape. You could, put them on resting on that if you wanted. So lots of vehicles here. Let me go back up to, see all these sci-fi tokens you can print out and use. And I got more coming. I keep making more like a doofus. Okay. And these are the props. This is the spaceship parts you can use. Now, I really did these very fast and furious because I wanted to get a whole bunch of assets done. But I'm going to show you something. I think I'm getting better and better because look at this. It's very simple, but it's usable. It's and I use these on the VTT. Everything I wanted to do, I wanted it to be usable, But I'm starting to draw like this now. Like I feel like I'm getting better. This is the tabletop version or the virtual tabletop. But these are like the new village pieces I've done recently. Basically putting in more ink on the things as opposed to the simpler stuff I did. But yeah, I'm really working on making them better. I'm going to show you a couple of new creatures I've done. These are I've decided to go a little more illustrative in the drawings. Not too crazy, but these are demon gorillas, in the caves. Primordial for your dark ages or sci-fi. Crazy. There's an Etten. There's Siamese twins out there, and this is a giant Siamese twins, obviously. Very angry and hiding. Yes, I'm doing demons because we got to have demons. I know it's kind of crazy, but I'm doing demons. You don't have, it's optional for you if you want to, as a Christian, use demons, but I want to have some demons in there. That's just my style. And so do the players, even as they evangelize. Can't evangelize them, so that's always fun. They get to go and fight them and use all their blessings and stuff. Okay, so a Christian role-playing game, absolutely a lot of fun, crazy. The rules are I think, with the dice pools and die rank results, it's a little tricky and conceptual, but what it does is it gets rid of all the other problems, or it replaces them with these new problems. But these new problems are fun because I don't have to. I think of it conceptually now. I don't have to go look at tables. I don't have to cap the players. I have characters in there with 100 glory points, which is like their level. Been playing 50, 60 episodes, and I have new characters with literally 25 glory points or less. No problem. They can all play in the same group. And even new players can come in and do their thing. So that's another way I've solved this as well, or with the die ring thing. So there's that. And there's evangelism, and there's church planting. And what this does, I in my life have changed now to an evangelist. I have become more evangelistic in my mindset. That's what this game is doing to me. It's changing me to think more about church history and about evangelism. And when I go out here in Hollywood, now I can tell I have been more evangelistic. I go to a goth club here in Hollywood. Goth clubs. I go out to bars. I'm kind of an atheist by habit. But I'm not crazy. I'm getting older. I'm getting a little tired and stuff. But when I go, I have talked to people about evangelism, which I've never would have done before. And I say it in ways that are really interesting and simple. Just one example, and I'll get off here. I was talking to a young lady. My wife and I were talking to a young lady. She's an actress. She was wearing a crazy costume. Marie Antoinette. This is during Halloween. And she started just naturally talking in a pagan way. There's this building. It had spirits in it. The landlords are terrible. She put a curse on them because they're so mean to everyone and criminal or whatever, nefarious. So she thought they were very nefarious. So she thought they were bad. So she was using her white magic, and she said, and I went down the basement. I did a ritual and did a curse on them because they're so terrible. They're so bad. And my wife and I are like, wow, we're actually having a really fun, great conversation with her. But look at that. We're talking to a witch, literally talking to a witch. And for her, it was normal language. That's today's society, I guess, So what was my response? Well, this came out. This came out because of this game, because of it, because I'm no, I mean because of Christ, but because of I'm changing my mindset. This game is see, I am not now thinking in the way of the regular RPGs, and like D&D and stuff. I'm not thinking that way anymore. I'm thinking in an evangelistic way, which is what this game is there for. It has mechanics for evangelism. You want denouement, you want them to get to the surrender, and then you want to tell them the gospel, right? So what did I say to her? I was a little taken back, and we were kind of early in the day or whatever, earlier in the night, and I was a little like, wow, I just wasn't expecting that at all. That turn of the conversation, and the way she said it was so nice and fun and silly, and I finally said to her, instead of cursing them, the landlords, maybe you should have prayed for them. And she's all, and I was like, it was simple, but it was direct, and I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go full on Christian right at that moment, just because I'm starting again, and I don't want to do that full on Christian in that environment. It's not that I want it to be conversational, so that's what it was. It was great because it totally blew her mind. She's like, oh, see, pagans do curses, they do revenge, they do magic because magic is a life cheat. They want to control someone through magic. They want to do pageantry and illusion. That's what pagan magic is actually. It's not fireball, or ice ball or whatever. Although those are just fun adventure things. It's control, charm, deception, curses. Curses is definitely one of them. That's pagan magic, and because the Templars actually use fireball. They use that fire. Anyway, I read the battle, but when I told her, why don't you just pray for them? And I told her also the worst thing that a wicked person could get. I said, the first thing that the wicked person can get is what they want. That's the worst thing they could get. They succeed at their wickedness. So I said these things to her, and I didn't bring up Jesus then, but in a conversation later that night, I did bring up the church. I said, maybe this guy was talking to me in the goth club, and he's depressing. We're all like, oh my gosh. We are trying to have a light night, right? Crazy Halloween-y costumes and all that. But he brought up everyone around him was on drugs and lost and blah, blah, blah. And I said, maybe you should try a different group. Oh, I even said that to her. But maybe you should try a different set. Because she said, everyone around me is a liar. Everyone's lying. I said, maybe you should try a different set of people, group. I should have brought church there, and I just didn't think of it. But later that night, I told this guy, same thing. Maybe you should try church. Maybe you should try people at church. Just to change the scenery. I'm like, I don't want to preach to you, but I'm just saying, maybe you should try going to church. Because everyone in his life was just depressing to me, or to him. And he's all, nah, that's a good idea. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna preach. I don't want to get heavy in there because I want to go dancing. I do want to do some crazy stuff with the wife and I, are a little crazy romancy. That's what we know. But I never would have done that before. Those two things, and I did them because I have this mindset now because of the game, because I'm getting it. All right, I think. But also, my YouTube channel is my evangelism as well, and it could be yours too. You could create these games, do these games, fellowship. Fellowship. That fellowship, men sharpening iron men, whatever. That thing become a ministry. And you actually, like I said, I'm becoming more and more self-aware of evangelism, which I never was before. I was just going to church and getting angry and ranting about the world, but never understanding what was the solution. The solution is evangelism and planting churches. That's the solution. Why all this? Our church has receded so much in America right now. That is why I really don't know. I can't believe that they have who they have in the elections. I can't believe Kamala is who they have in these elections. That's because we don't have enough church in our culture. Kamala is being fully accepted by the crazy far left Democrats in their thing, and that the reason is there's no church. We need men to rebuke the stupidity that's going on in the world today. The paganism of butchering children, that's all pagan, by the way. The whole trans thing is hugely pagan. And when they say that the non, keep going. When they say non-binary is in the world, it's a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's been there. Christianity, that's the new thing. That's the revolution. Anyway, I better get off because I'm talking too much. All right. Thank you so much if you listened this far. If you have, you get 3 glory points. In the game of life, roll holy dice.